Today we started talking about oblique triangles and some rules that we can use to solve those. In particular, today we learned about the law of sines as it applies to triangles that are angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. We have some rules to learn about this, and we'll be learning about this all week. Oblique triangles just mean that they do not have a right angle, so that's what we're talking about here. It's called the law of sines. And it says that if ABC is a triangle, remember triangles are labeled by their angles, so A, B, and C capital mean angles A, B, and C, with sides, and those are corresponding A, B, and C lowercase, then this rule is true, and that is that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. And you can take just any two parts of this to solve for different things, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. You may only need those two at one time, or those two, or those two. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Before you get started on this lesson and the next to follow, be sure that you have your calculator in degree mode. If you forgot how to do that, go to the mode button, scroll over to degree and hit enter, and then second quit to get out of that screen. If you're in radians, you're going to get some wrong answers. We just have two examples to look at. The first is if you are given two angles and one side. And in this case, we're talking about angle, angle, side. Not that important to you at this point, but it will become more later. C, angle C is 102.3 degrees. Angle B is 28.7 degrees. And side B, noted by the lowercase, is 27.4 feet. Okay? All right, we want to solve for everything that we were not given. So we have an angle that's missing and two sides that are missing. Again, that comes from knowing that we're talking about triangles here. If you want to draw the triangle out, that might help you to kind of see that. But we're going to start with the angle. We know that the measured degree inside of a triangle always adds up to be 180. So to find A, the third angle, we're going to do 180 minus 102.3 minus 28.7. And if we plug that into our calculator, we will get 49 degrees. So that is one of our three answers. Angle A is equal to 49 degrees. Now, we need to use the law of sines that we just talked about to find the sides, both A and C. And we'll do that following two processes. It's the same process over again, just twice. Once to find A and once to find C. To find A, we're going to leave A alone. We don't know that. And we're going to do the sine of A, which we just found to be 49, equals, and then we're going to use B because we have both pieces of B. So 27.4, that's the lowercase top one, that's the length, over the sine of 28.7. All of that we want to do to find A, get A by itself. We're going to cross multiply. So we have 27.4 sine 49 equals A sine 28.7. To get A by itself, we're going to divide both sides by sine of 28.7. And when we plug that into our calculator, again, we're always in degrees and put the top in parentheses, we'll get that A is equal to 43.06. And now we have one angle on one side. We just have one side left to go. We're going to follow the same process, this time looking for C. So C over sine, and the angle C is 102.3, and equals this same thing. We're going to use the B parts again. Part of the reason I say to use the B again is because we did do a little bit of rounding on A, so if you use A and A's counterpart, you might get a little bit different answer there. Cross multiply again, and then divide by the sine of 28.7. And when you put that in your calculator, C is equal to 55.75. And those are both measured in feet, I believe. If you want to put the units on there, that's fine. If you don't, that's not a big deal to me. And now you've solved, you have all three angles and all three sides, so you're done with example 1. Example 2 is very similar, except this time we're talking about angle, side, angle, so just the way they're oriented on the problem is a little bit different. really doesn't change anything for your purposes at this point. Angle A is equal to 43 degrees. Angle B is equal to 98 degrees. And side C is equal to 22 feet. Again, we have two angles, one side. Let's find the third angle first. So angle C equals 180 minus 43 minus 98, which gives us 39 degrees. And then we need to find our other two sides. Let's start with side A. A over sine A, or sine 43 degrees, equals, and this time we have the most information about C. So we're going to do 22, that's C's length, over the sine of 39 degrees. Cross multiply. Divide both sides by sine of 39. And put that in your calculator. And when you do that, you should be getting the answer 23.84. And that's your second side. Now you have C and A. Finally, we want to find what side B is equal to. So we're going to do B over the sine of 98, because that B is coming from right there. And that is equal to, let me make sure you can see this, 22 over the sine of 39. We're going to cross multiply and then divide. And side B is equal to 34.62. And those are my answers. If you just want to round to 2 decimal places, that would be sufficient. A9, today's assignment, is page 436, 1 through 4, 7, and 8. That's just 6 problems, and I recommend you do them very quickly after watching this podcast.